If you'd like to join the ranks of Patreons and sponsor the show, head over to patreon.com/Cellar Door Skeptics. For less than a 20-ounce soda or an energy drink each week, you can help sponsor us, the hosts, and our charity of choice. Patreon helps Cellar Door Skeptics create better content, become better activists, and it's going to help you stay healthier by drinking one less soda or one less energy drink each week. Click the link in the notes of the show to sponsor us today because we bring the discussion with the sources.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Walk with me through the cellar door.
A storm is coming, Francis.
A portal to a more skeptical world.
Cellar Door Skeptics begins right now. Prepare for the revolution with your hosts, Christopher Tanner and Chris Hanna.
Welcome back to Cellar Door Skeptics. Thank you all for joining us again for episode 157. This is our yearly Christmas episode, I guess, as Christmassy as we feel this year. It's a little stressful, little busy, going on, but we threw a little bit of Christmas in there, even though Hannah's got his Grinch mask on and his Grinch stockings and everything.
I am in full Grinch mode. Today I was just sitting there just thinking, gah.
It's funny. I have a picture of you where I put a Grinch mask on, and I just show it to my kids during this time of the year. They're like, "Oh, we haven't seen Hannah in a while." I was like, "You don't want to? This is what he looks like right now." And they're like, "No, he doesn't." And in the end, Dad, in the end, the Grinch has a big heart anyway, doesn't he? So I bet Hannah's got a big heart too.
Yeah, I'm sure I do. I was gonna post something just grumbling about capitalism and customers demanding things before the holiday season so they can take the week off, blah blah. I ended up just deleting it because I didn't want to argue with people on the internet. I'm so grinchy, I'm not even in the mood to fight on the internet. So that's where I am right now. That's all I got. Just the whole end of the year thing is never really fun. Like the 4th, after it's all over with, and it'll be back to normal. It'll just be get up and do your stuff. Like there won't be anybody yelling at your brain until November.
Yeah, I don't know. When I worked in production and actually worked on the floor, I didn't like it because I liked my time off. But I could tell you what, the overtime pay was always amazing during this time of year. We always definitely got quite a bit of extra cash in our pocket because if production's like, yeah, we got to meet demands overseas, we have to work an extra day here or there. Even this year, Hayworth, we service Hayworth and Holland, and they called us and they're like, hey, we need you to work that day, and it's all a payday for the whole company. Our owners gave us 4 holidays at the end of this year. And so, we had to have an internal conversation. What are we going to do? Who needs to be here? Who wants to volunteer? And basically we offered, extra pay. So you're going to get time and a half, plus you're going to get an extra vacation day that you can use next year if you come in and work on, Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve.
A friend of mine he worked at Mead in Zealand did Mead Johnson does baby formula and stuff. And he worked on Christmas Eve and New Year's one year, and he got triple time while he was there. And he was over like $20 an hour. He's making $60 an hour, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy. See, I would do that. Like,
that's what it was. He was single. He had a 1-bedroom apartment, and he was just like, bachelor for life, bro. I'm working on the holidays, and I'm gonna make so much money. And then after when he took his vacation, he just went to Vegas. He went and spent all the money he made for the holiday on overtime pay in Vegas, and just blew it all. It was insane.
That's crazy. I wouldn't have done that. But I probably would have blew it on something, but I wouldn't go wasted in Vegas, I don't think.
Yeah. But either way, I don't know. That's pretty much where we both are. I think it's just kind of one of those, it's the end of the year. I don't think it's just like, it's not like 2016. When 2016 was over, everybody was like, make it stop. Like last year, the end of the year, we were just like, this is a crappy year. This year, it's just like, this sucks. But it's not like, I remember it's like existential pain in 2016 that like we knew Trump was on his way in, and it was just like this like black cloud hovering. Now it's just kind of like this nasty brown fart cloud that's just everywhere for like our whole country. It's what it feels like. It's just like this mushy nastiness with like the end of the year increase in productivity from the Mueller team, and all these indictments and stuff has been pretty exciting. But
it has. That has been exciting. And you know, and the thing here is right, we're halfway through. When is he going to start campaigning? Right? Like, some of me doesn't want to listen to 2 years of campaigning, but on the opposite side, you know, what the pro to this is, if he starts campaigning in, let's say, March, that's a year and 3/4 that he'll be campaigning, right? Like, in some aspects, is that good because he won't be in office to sign bills and do these other things? I don't know. He'll fly back for him, but he'll be preoccupied.
He's not really there anyways. He's always at Mar-a-Lago, and he does everything through the phone anyways. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe
he doesn't do any of those things. He is the quintessential manager. He yells what he wants into the ether, mostly through his tiny thumbs on Twitter, and then a bunch of professionals who, I mean, professionals, whether or not we like them or not, they are professional politicians. They go do all the hard work. And then if it ends good, Trump says, me did, I create. And if it ends bad, he says, they're stupid, bad guys. Like, I mean, that's really what it is. It's like he takes credit for everything he can, and anything that's bad, he pushes blame on everybody else, which is he is the Tom Sawyer. He is the embodiment of Tom Sawyer. It's like, come paint this fence. It's the best thing ever. Like, anyways. So it's just exasperation. I think it's been that's my word for 2018. It's just exasperation.
Exactly. Well, here's a little bit more exasperation. And there's a good side and a bad side to this, right? So we're going to deal with the bad side. And then our charity of the week is actually chosen specifically because of this first news article.
Okay.
This week, a federal panel of judges dismissed 83 ethics complaints against the one and only Brett Kavanaugh. Yeah. So this week they had a specially appointed federal panel of judges dismiss over 83 or all 83 ethical complaints brought against Mr. Kavanaugh regarding his conduct at his confirmation hearings. So the judges considered all these complaints very serious, but they said there is no existing authority that allows lower court judges to investigate or discipline Supreme Court justices. So get this. We have the Supreme Court, right? We have the executive branch, right? We have all of these branches that are supposed to put each other in check. But yet, in the judicial branch, they don't have a second set of checks and balance systems to go, oh, I don't know. We don't know what to do with them. And it's almost kind of like saying, I caught my boss, stealing money out of the cookie jar. Who do I report that to if he owns the company? That's what they're saying of Kavanaugh right now. We don't have the authority to discipline him.
I don't understand why this isn't something that, like, with the incoming House switching over to the Democratic side, I don't understand. Are all of the judges that are on this panel conservatives and just say, okay, well, we can't do anything, so we're just going to say no to this? Like, I would be interested to see if any of these complaints are going to transfer over to the House Judiciary Committee, which is going to be in charge of taking care of, it's essentially the watchdog on the judicial branch. We'll see. I would think that this stuff isn't going to just disappear, especially if the Democrats are not happy with this, because I mean, if there's some way that they can force Kavanaugh to recuse himself in different situations, they should use it. I don't know if they will. I don't know if this is something that's a possibility. But, I mean, these are the kinds of checks and balances. So if the rest of the judicial branch doesn't have some way to check its own leaders for unethical conduct, The legislative, I guarantee you, has that power written into it somewhere where they have the ability to check the judicial branch. And my assumption is that it's probably in the House oversight committees, because that's the big thing that the House is for. Is, it has subpoena power, and it's essentially there as a investigative body in a lot of their operations. That should help. So I don't know if this is going to do anything, but it does seem kind of sketchy. The one thing I noticed is that they're saying that these are ethics complaints brought against him regarding his conduct at the confirmation hearing. So this isn't like 83 complaints that have happened over a couple years or something. This is just from the confirmation hearings, which my assumption is his conduct at the hearings is just how he was just super pissy and mad and defensive and grumpy. That's what I'm saying. I can understand like those may be conduct problems, but is there anything that has any teeth in these accusations?
Some of it is misleading statements that he gave about some of the different activities he did with the Bush White House, right? So there's that.
Well, that's legit then. That's a context.
That one is legit. He also, and again, this one's a little bit kind of in between the two. He essentially basically accused everything of being just a hit job on him for political rhetoric, which again is not technically a crime per se, but it wasn't just him getting mad at, his past people accusing him of things. It was also people getting mad at him, and he's basically pulling a Trump here, I guess, and saying, "Why, you're only it's all conspiracy. This is all fake news."
Yeah, I can understand that. So, like, basically, how you're supposed to behave and how you're supposed to act in a nonpartisan manner as a judge. I mean, they're supposed to swear to be independent in there, and so essentially, they are an independent person who is going to contemplate, analyze, and I guess apply the law as they see it written. Which, we love to say that you can be independent, but we all know that bias is an unnegotiable thing when it comes to people. And so we'll see. I can see where I could skip the partisan thing where he's yelling about that and really hit into, was he being intentionally misleading? So maybe we could take those 83 things down to like maybe 5 or 10 and have a real, like, to get rid of the frivolous and trivial and anything that's really serious, and then have the judicial branch have the legislative branch do some investigation and see if there's anything really there. Because I mean, we don't agree with him. We don't like his perspectives. But if he did something wrong, cool. If he didn't, I don't want to abuse the system. If he didn't do anything wrong, the Democrats just got outmaneuvered by the Democrats and they got their Supreme Court picks. That sucks. But maybe Democrats will vote next year.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, but the bigger issue here is if he made false statements,
that needs to be found out.
That's what comes into this, right? And the reason that they lack authority is because the act that they're looking at is from 1980, I believe, and I don't remember the name of the act off the top of my head. I read it earlier, but I don't remember the name of it. But essentially, it just doesn't talk about Supreme Court justices, and that's the problem. And so people have talked about revising it, right? They've talked about how can we change this? How do we make this, different so that we could fix the conduct, so you could have it sort of an impeachment process if needed, because these people are serving for life.
Supreme Court, yeah. So essentially a removal process or an ethics check for Supreme Court judges.
Yes, and I think that would be a much needed addition, in my opinion, given the current climate.
I will always take more specificity in the rule of law. I mean, the idea that the U.S. Constitution is one of the most vague and open documents, and living document idea is cool. But like, you see these interpretations that vary wildly depending on whether or not certain factions are in control of the government. And people like to make fun of the UN Charter, which is something like 1,200 pages long. But like, there is something comforting about specificity. Maybe I'm a Vogon. Maybe I love bureaucracy and paperwork. I don't know. But I'm almost 100% certain that I would like to see a very clearly spelled out bit of law that would explain what we can do when Supreme Court justices are not behaving themselves. And while we're at it, whether or not presidents can be indicted while they're in office or not. Like, that would be really nice to know, because we're just riding around on an assumption. We don't think you can. That's pretty much how the law is right now. It's like there's a use for being more specific.
Exactly. So for our charity of the week, I thought I would do a local charity that helps victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. Given the fact that Brett Kavanaugh has been
bringing him in there.
accused, it's been demonstrated, there's been more than one witness. I mean, I don't think we really need to have these conversations. We all know that the policies got pushed through. I thought it would be a good idea to say, hey, what is it an organization that you can support that has helped women of domestic violence and sexual assault victims, as well as families, out of abusive situations?
Wow,
So
and they even have services for deaf people.
They do,
So they can contact people on using the different visual manners, because you can't obviously hear on a telephone. That's cool. I've never seen that before.
The name of the organization is Haven. They're out of Oakland, Michigan, which is essentially by Detroit. I don't know exactly where in Detroit because I'm a Grand Rapidian, but it's in that general vicinity of Detroit.
Just use the Googles. It'll direct you where you need to go.
But their mission is to empower survivors to heal and engage all individuals, communities, and to address and prevent sexual assault and intimate partner violence. Their goal is to eradicate sexual assault and intimate partner violence and heal those affected by its injustices. And they have public financial reports on their thing. They have a whole newsletter section. They have success stories that go around. And I think I knew what was happening, with Brett today. And I just happened to be going through and doing some research to try and find different organizations that we can promote that was a little different than what we promoted before. And I came across this website from, I believe it was 616 Media had an article, I don't know, like a couple months ago that had charities to support. And this one just touched me because when you read the survivor testimony, you just sit here and think, I can't understand how another human could do that to somebody. I don't understand how somebody can hold somebody back, tell them how to walk, how to talk, who they should think, where they should borrow money, how they should, basically live their lives. And if they don't, they're going to beat them to death. They're going to rip their kids from them. All sorts of crazy things. And given the current atmosphere with the Me Too movement and the amount of people that are being called out finally for their inappropriate behavior, it's nice to see an organization that's been around for a very long time helping people out. They have a 24-hour crisis and support. They have a toll-free hotline. And then, like you said, they offer a hotline and services for people that are deaf. Did I say
There's
that
also
right?
Yeah, there's also another thing that I thought was really cool. There's an education prevention tab on their main page, and it has some information about how to understand your role in the prevention of domestic abuse. And what it does is it gives this nice little section that says, on a personal level, these are things you can do if you are not directly involved in something, but something happens and somehow you see it, hear about it, or you experience someone somewhere, some part of whatever, that you have an opportunity, something happens. So like they say, obviously believe survivors, don't blame victims, educate yourself. It says that most sex offenders aren't strangers. 86% of abusers are known by their victim. Like, this is really useful stuff for people who have not, let's say you're not, you don't know anyone that is directly being attacked. You aren't personally being attacked. This is how you, as an ally, or a supporter of women's rights, children's, young women, and anything along those lines, even men who are abused by women, which does happen, you can. It says speak out against racist, sexist, or homophobic jokes. Avoid engaging in or supporting and encouraging sexual harassment. Like, this is a list. Read this and think about how you live your life and things that you do. This is information for people also that aren't in need of direct help, but just want a little bit more help on how you can become a better part of the society and community. That's awesome. I love this kind of stuff.
Yep. I mean, and they have a section just for men, right? I feel like cutting this out and sending this right to Brett, right? Like, choose your words carefully and respectfully when speaking to women. Show your strength by speaking up to men who always are using their strength for hurting others. Refuse to let TV, movie, or music influence the way you define yourself as a man. Understand that it takes more than not just being a batterer or a rapist to be a good guy. Treat all women and girls with respect. Don't patronize sex workers or strip clubs. I mean, that's got to be like number one on Brett Kavanaugh's list. I mean, like, it has to be, Ask every time. Don't assume you know what your partner wants. Get involved with Haven and be an example of kindness and compassion, So, yeah. Again, this was one of those these things where you're right. I mean, and this was great. They even have a section on papers and studies. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, when going through this site, I was sold on it. And then I saw that section and I started clicking on the links and I said, hold on, this gets even better. It's like, this is the website with the sources. So instead of us being the podcast with the sources, right, it's the website with the sources. Maybe we should change our website to that name.
Oh, maybe. Unless we're stealing it from someone else, we should check to see if it's a trademark. Otherwise, we'll get sued by Brett Kavanaugh.
Anyway, so go over to haven-oakland.org. All the links will be in the description. They have a way you can volunteer if you're in the area. There's a way that you can donate to events. You can go to different events. If you are in need of help, it has resources supporting how you need help, different things like that, as well as a way to donate. But I thought now it would be a good time, after you go donate, of course, go donate first, and then come back and join us for a Christmas segment. The only one the Grinch Hannah would let me do tonight, which is fine because I have a great segment planned for the end of the show. But I had to do this because, I think about this, right? My wife was talking to me and she was like, it's nice the kids go get to see all the relatives, all these other things, because, the tradition, your family somewhat has a tradition. We have a tradition in our house, that we like to put the Christmas tree up and we all do ornaments together. Like, that's a thing. Like, my wife specifically waits, to put any ornaments on until all the kids are in the house. And for those of you who don't know, I am divorced from my first marriage by over 13 years now, but I have split custody of my son, so I get him 7 days every other week, and we specifically wait until he's around and we're all able to do it no matter what. And we figure out how we're going to make time. Like, everything else stops, and my wife does a very awesome job. But lately I haven't been in the Christmas mood, honestly, as much. I mean, I'll be honest, I have. I watched a lot of Christmas Office episodes.
Oh, God.
Because I do like Christmas. It's just, I don't know. It's this year is
it's a work fatigue thing this year, I bet.
It is. I wasn't as interested this year in putting decorations up. I like the tree and I like the lights, especially because sometimes really late at night they look amazing. But I do like that side of it, and I enjoy that. And I think I just need some time off to be able to sit back with the family. For example, today my daughter has a boyfriend that she's had at least for 2 years, I think now. And
oh my goodness,
she came home yesterday with a little present bag. And we didn't know this was going to happen. And she goes, Dad, I need you to take me to the store tonight. We have to go. And I'm like, we don't have time tonight, honey. I'm sorry. No, we have to go tonight. I'm sorry, we don't have time. Can we go tomorrow night? It would be better if we could just go tomorrow night. But she has to go get her boyfriend a present because he got her a present. and it's this whole big ordeal. And so, my wife volunteers on Tuesday nights, so I had to take her myself. And we, all of us, everybody but my wife went, and we had to go pick out a Christmas present for her boyfriend.
So the whole family was like, down this aisle, no, that aisle.
No, my stepson and my youngest daughter, they just kind of wandered off and found candy and other things to play with and try to convince me what to buy, And so we were left alone, and we were able to do that. But, that's something that's nice, I don't mind doing that thing. It was even funny. My boss called me, and usually I talk to my boss after work for a half hour to 45 minutes, and we recap the day, make plans to go forward, vent a little bit. And sometimes that could be as late as 5 or 6 at night. And tonight, I texted him. I was like, let's have a conversation. He didn't text me back till 5. He calls me, and I'm like, well, I'm already on the road. He's like, hey, you know what? Just go spend time with your family. It's okay. Like, well, nothing at work is going to burn down because we didn't have an after work discussion. Okay, good. See ya. Have fun. We bought the dog a new collar. We got her a Christmas present for her boyfriend, or a bunch of them, and then I guess not a bunch, but a lot of candy. She got him a lot of candy. I guess 10-year-olds like candy and soda.
Good Lord.
And
Good Lord.
Yeah, just wait, my friend. And your daughter's pretty assertive, so I would be surprised if she said, "You're my boyfriend, and you're my boyfriend, and you're my boyfriend, and you're all getting me presents."
I don't know what it's gonna be, because she's kind of got the demure thing, but she's like incredibly outgoing, and so I don't know what we're gonna get. If I'm gonna get a diva, or if she's gonna be this is like super outgoing bubble. I have no idea. So we'll see as time goes on for that one. But
so do you have Christmas traditions?
Yeah, well, what we in my house here, because my parents, we had the Hanukkah with my mother, the Hanukkah holiday, which is still going on. I think it's halfway through or close to the 8th day now, where we used to say the Hanukkah prayer and light the candle, and you would do one gift because there were 8 gifts, and that's some families did just do the Hanukkah, and they would do one big pile of gifts on that first day, and then you would just do the prayers every day, or you could choose to do one gift each day, and you got a gift when you came home when the sun went down, which is when you lit the candle. And then we also did Christmas trees. My father, we always had real trees. We didn't have any fake trees, but we have a fake tree now, and so we set that up, and my daughter and I set it up, but we didn't do any ornaments because it was too late. And then I came home, and the ornaments were just all on the tree, which is fine. So the biggest thing is just I don't the cat and the dogs roughhouse, and they're just always knocking stuff off the tree, and I have glitter bombs all over my house because they explode, just all that kind of stuff. But overall, it's just kind of, it's so chaotic in the house at this point still that I just all I see is just hazards with the Christmas tree and everything. I used to like doing the lights, but I just haven't. I get home in the dark every day now, so I haven't been doing so much there. It's the work fatigue thing. So we do the holiday kind of holiday light, and the biggest thing for me is just finding a way to do the travel and all the work, and spend time at home to get all of those things. Everybody wants me more than the day is available. So if I could figure out a way to make it to where I could kind of even those things out, then it wouldn't be so bad. Because I got travel for Sarah's family. It's almost 3 hours to get to their house, and so it's a 6-hour round trip. That's just a lot of work on a vehicle and stuff. So I don't know. With the bad things aside, it's a decent holiday. It's just I'm always just exasperated and burnt out by the end of the year. So I think that kind of taints my holiday season more than it should. But that's just me, I guess. Yeah. Well, you should just start scheduling time off for yourself for the business and just say, hey, yeah, we're going to shut down for the next 3 weeks. See ya. I know. I was talking with some engineers and people about that, and it's just do you guys realize that if we just shut down the company for 2 weeks for the holiday week or the holiday season, what would happen at your company? And they're just oh my God, it would start on fire. It's yeah, so you should appreciate what we do a little bit more. And the bills are going up by 10%. You know what I mean?
I can't spend Christmas with my daughter, but you're going to pay a little bit more so I can buy, a little bit bigger present when I get home.
Yeah, something like that. So you basically, these are our basic family traditions, and you wanted to talk about traditions.
Yeah, I thought it
in
would
other
be fun to
places?
go, yeah, so who else has other traditions? And if you have a tradition you want to talk about, tweet at us, email us, whatever floats your boat. But I found some websites, right? And I'll be honest, I didn't do a bunch of research. I Googled it, and then I found these websites, and I was going through them, and I was like, hey, this has 75 weird traditions. And I was like,
Holy crud.
all right, so we'll go a
Pick
few.
your favorite?
Yeah, we'll go through a few of these. For example, the first one that came up was Sweden. Oh, Christmas goat. Oh, flaming Christmas goat. And I sat there and said,
That's so
amazing.
metal.
Yep,
That is so
I like
metal.
that. And that's what drew me. And it was one of those weird like pop-up ads that you get, in your phone. And then that's what prompted me to Google the other stuff, is because I got this weird ad, and then when I clicked on it, it was one of those stupid websites where you got to click every time to see the new one. So I'm like, oh, screw this! You're not getting that many clicks from me.
I agree. Yeah, if you can't show a whole slideshow, if each slide is a new
Like
page,
I don't need to go to 17 pages to see this.
No.
So
no.
But it gave me the idea that said, hey, what are some of these other things? And then I thought it would be fun to show, my kids some of these. And, most of them, they cared for the first couple, and then it's not on TV, Dad? It's not on my iPad? Can you put it on my iPad? Is it a slideshow? Will it play music and a video at the same time and tell me about it? No, honey,
No.
It's an article. You're supposed to read it. That's cool. Boom, gone.
Yeah.
So Sweden does this Oh Goat thing where they have a once road of festival Christmas goat. And I guess it started in 1966 in the town of Kavaja. And they decided to erect a giant Yule goat, and then it's made out of straw, I guess. And then they burn it down on New Year's Eve.
So Swedish Burning Man happens on New Year's.
Yes.
That's awesome. Okay, so the one thing that this is going to get a little bit morbid, but it's whatever. The Russian Christmas traditions, one of these things in here that on the bustle page that you had, it calls for two celebrations, one on December 25th and again on January 7th. It says dinner on this day features 12 different dishes that represent the 12 apostles, usually meatless and full of bread, honey, and veggies. On Christmas Day usually calls for a main course of meat. As for Santa, his name is Dead Moroz, which translates to Grandfather Frost, but it's incredibly... I think it's funny, but I'm a dark person. I think it's funny that his name is Dead Moroz because I saw a video this weekend of a guy in the Russian Santa Claus thing dancing in front of a bunch of children, and he had a heart attack and died. It just thunk fell over, and all these kids are like, "What's wrong with Santa?" And I had my Grinch smile on that. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was terrible, and those kids are probably never enjoy Santa Claus or Grandfather Frost ever again. But I'm just glad there was a surveillance camera on that.
Yeah. And so the next one that I have is from Wales. And as I'm reading through these, I thought, what would be really fun? Maybe we should cancel the show, or we should change the show. Maybe not cancel it, but we'll just change it. We'll call Cellar Door Skeptics Podcast and History. And we could just do like a full episode on the history of every weird Christmas tradition and just do a full episode on it. That would be awesome. I don't know if I have the attention span to do that. But
I would fall asleep during that research process.
You might, but it would be fun to talk about. For example, in Wales, they have something called Mari Lund. I don't know how to say it exactly, but Mari Lund, which means gray mare. And it involves a skull, an old bedsheet, and songs. In Wales, the pagan holdover customs involves the arrival of a horse and attendees at the door of a house or a pub. Pub is where they got me. Where they sing several verses of an introductory song. A battle of wits ensues, which involves the party outside and people inside exchanging verses, insults, and other creative parries as long as both can hold out. When one falters, the Mari enters the house and brings the luck of the new year in.
I've seen those. I don't know if you've ever seen the people they have like limerick battles in pubs in Ireland where it's like have some saying about how your mom and grandma are the biggest whores in town or whatever, like some pub talk they have. I bet you this is kind of like a Christmassy version of that, where it's just like insult comic stuff, or like a rap battle with Christmas lights.
Yes, and like that would be awesome, right? I'm in full endorsement of that.
I could have some fun with that, but that would involve actually being able to get to go out to a pub on Christmas, which I will not be able to do.
That's true. Another one, this is a weirder one for me, actually. This is, to me, because this is a little off base, right? And I don't like this specific franchise restaurant at all. So like this, I would eat it, I guess, and like a lot of my family likes this, but in Japan, they do Kentucky Fried Chicken Christmas dinner. And I was like, wait a minute, you gotta be kidding me, right? Like I can't imagine that they did this.
KFC is considered like almost a delicacy. Like it's like people think it's like high end food in other places of the world. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I think
it's not even good fried chicken.
I know, but
back
I think
in
what
the day
it is because
now it's not.
Well, I think what it is because white meat isn't. It's just only like the head of the house gets white meat in a lot of places, and KFC has kind of turned all of the dark meat parts of the chicken into pretty plump white meat sections. Like if you open up a KFC wing, thigh, or dumpling, like the meat's, it's, you know what I mean, like genetically engineered. So like I think that's kind of what it is. It's like I don't know. It's a mutation of what they expect from what they typically have in their places. But because I know Japanese tandoori chicken is amazing and it's all considered locally sourced and really good. But like for some reason in other countries, KFC is almost considered like a delicacy. Like I don't even remember the movie Demolition Man with Wesley Snipes.
Yes,
and,
yes, I love that movie actually.
Yeah, with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes, where Taco Bell was a gourmet fine dining restaurant in the future. And so, like, it's the same kind of thing. In some places, like KFC will look like a really high-end restaurant in other countries. I don't understand it. I don't travel enough to let you know. I'll let you know the next time I go to Japan, which would be my first time going to Japan, and I'm probably never going to leave if they ever let me into that country.
No, you don't think so?
I think Japan would be the best place ever, but I would have to be able to speak Japanese. So like before I go, I'm going to learn, and I guarantee you I will not eat KFC in Japan.
I probably wouldn't either. I mean, so they have this menu. So if you click on it, and I'm not going to lie and say that the little weird cup things that they give away, they're giving away these little like soup cups or something. They call them food containers. I don't know if they're glass or anything. They don't say. But they look pretty awesome. They have this weird little horse that looks like I don't know, he's very comical, like he's a happy horse, but he has no mouth. And they have little different scenes. They're limited edition. I can't read any of this because it's not in English, but I would collect those. And so I looked up like an 8-piece meal, which feeds roughly 4 people. In yen versus dollars, it's about $20. So that's not even like outrageously priced, I mean, because they made this out to be like essentially this website says you have to order this and put your order in early.
Yeah, you have
to get KFC in Japan.
You have to pre-order it. Yeah, so you have to do like pre-ordered like days or something in advance. Like, so yeah.
So I thought that, those I really liked. I really liked all these different little things. I mean, there's even a website that does weirdest Christmases in different states. Did you know Alabama has something called Alpha-Palooza?
Alpha-Palooza?
Yep.
Well, it sounds like it's like Elvis-a-Palooza or any other weird thing that people do in this country, where like in Vegas it'll just be every dude in the city is wearing an Elvis costume.
Kind of. Yeah, except for they're elves. Yeah. Colorado has Santa's ski event where you dress up like Santa and go skiing, and they probably get high now too. And then go skiing.
They did that in Michigan as well. They have have a day of the year, typically on March 15th or so, up in northern Michigan, Boyne Mountain, Boyne Highlands, around there. They do costume contest on the slopes, and so you can sit at the bottom of the hill and watch a guy in a scuba tank, a Santa Claus, and like a military guy with fake plastic guns go down the hill next to each other and crash, because halfway down the hill they have a bar and people just get ripped, and then they try to go the rest of the way down the hill, and so it's like watching a plinko board. Everybody's just thunk 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 all the way down to the bottom of the hill. It's amazing.
We
so
should
cool,
go
but
and just watch that.
I've done it multiple times.
Oh,
yeah, it's awesome. I used to go snowboarding all the time when I was younger, so college, woo, free time.
In Kentucky, they have something called Brickmas, where they build large-scale Lego displays out of, local Christmas displays. That's kind of cool. That's not something I've ever heard of before.
That's cool. Is there something for Michigan in there, and is it incredibly depressing?
I don't know. Michigan. Yep, Michigan has something. They have the Greenfield Village in Detroit. Takes you back to the era Model T. So they just talk about the Greenfield Village. And they do something called Holiday Nights, where they roast chestnuts and do carols, and they have presentations by people in period costumes. I don't know.
Yeah,
not really. Yeah.
That's depressing. in Michigan, what interesting thing do you do? We party like it's $18.99 up in this place.
Yeah.
Oh man!
In Nevada,
That's a bummer.
they have a gingerbread house festival. In Michigan, we get to go listen to people be sexist and demean women.
I know. It's like in Michigan, we're going to make America great again by going back to the time before there were cars, and we're going to roast nuts on the fire for entertainment. I get it. I like romanticizing the past, but I don't at the same time, because the best part about Greenfield Village is leaving it in a fast, modern car.
That's true. We had to visit there a lot as kids.
I did too. I was younger.
I seen that stupid place more times. Like, my kids are like, "Hey, we could go there." It's like, I don't know. Well, I think I'm okay.
My favorite part about all those museums in that area was I always loved. We would go by the Lincoln chair, the bloody chair that Lincoln was sitting in when he was shot in the head. That is the coolest thing in not Gerald Ford. There's a museum connected to the Greenfield Village. I don't remember what it is. Either way, there's a museum that's attached to it, and it has the Lincoln chair in it, and that's my favorite thing when I was younger. I was like, oh, that dude died in that chair. Other than that, I don't remember anything. It was the blowing glass at Greenfield Village is pretty cool. And they had, the master artisans who would blow glass bulbs and tubes and candles and whatever they were doing. That was cool. But other than that, man, nope. Michigan is boring.
Yep. Why can't we be more like Germany? So, as we conclude the episode, my favorite one is Krampus, and I love Krampus so much. You have no idea how much I love Krampus. Like, it's
Halloween. It's Halloween for Christmas.
It's not Halloween for Christmas. It's traditional Christmas crap from Germany, damn it, or Finland or somewhere. I think it's Germany, actually. And it's kind of funny because Zealand is known as, the Christmas card capital of Michigan or whatever, right? And everybody puts these big Christmas cards out. My wife won't let me put an atheist one out. She won't let me put one. Yeah, it's a huge wooden, fancily painted thing. My wife won't let me put an atheist one. She won't let me put this. I could probably put a somewhat humanistic one and get away with it. I was like, so this year I was like, I'll tell you what, can I make a Krampus one? Like, to me, that would be even better. This little Krampus guy, right? It's not anti-religious. It has nothing to do with my atheism. It will draw a little attention. This guy's going to
come beat your children.
Yes. Steal their presents.
I know.
I get it. It's awful, right? We shouldn't beat kids. I'm not advocating that we should beat kids that are bad. Not at all. But I find Krampus Night amazing because it'd be like, if Krampus came, maybe if Trump had hit Krampus, we wouldn't have him today, right? Maybe that would have solved the problem. A couple of good switches to the ass. And again,
maybe.
I'm just cheesing. I'm not saying we should switch kids. That's not what I'm saying we should do. But I think it's just funny because, Christmas always, I never heard of Krampus until, like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years ago when I became an atheist.
They had a movie that
ironically.
came out last year.
Oh, I know. I love that movie.
Last year.
It's amazing.
So,
I'm going to watch it this year, too. Can't wait. That's like on my when I have my vacation time coming up next week, I'm watching Krampus. I have like a whole list of horror Christmas movies. My wife's like, yeah, I'm just going to go to work for those days. Like, I don't want to even be home.
You're going to get Goldberg and Santa's sleigh.
Ooh, I love Santa's sleigh. That's one of my favorite.
So, yeah. I don't know. I do find some of that stuff interesting. I find the world taking our unique things and changing them, and I kind of like them mostly because I could see someone, let's say a former governor of Indiana with silver hair, getting really pissed off about people perverting his perfectly pure holiday season.
Yeah.
Like I can see like the Russian version of Grandfather Frost just pissing Mike Pence off. I can see like the Santa Claus going down a hill as like some kind of heresy in Colorado. It would just make him grumpy. Like I enjoy that. Like just that kind of diversity on something that people like to think of as purely and supremely American. You know what I mean? It's like we own that. America owns Santa Claus, and you can see there's so many different versions of Santa all over the world, and the different pagan traditions that are all scooped up into the holidays. And I mean, it definitely shows you the idea of what a viral idea can do when it comes to the entire planet. Holy crap!
Exactly. On that note, we're going to take a really quick commercial break so we can pee, and we'll be right back with more Cellar Door Skeptics.
Like what you're hearing? Check out more Cellar Door Skeptics every week right here on Spreaker and iTunes. Make sure you come back and check out new episodes with your hosts, Christopher Tanner and Chris Hanna. And always, remember, prepare for the revolution.
Considering how you want to help Cellar Door Skeptics, head over to iTunes or your favorite podcast app and give us a rating, because every rating helps push us in front of new listeners. And since our main goal here at Cellar Door Skeptics is to provide the most accurate information possible, we hope that more ratings will mean that more people get to hear the topics that we're presenting. We don't insist that we get a 5-star rating, but Hannah's favorite number is 5, and the more gold stars he gets, the more special he's gonna feel. So what do you say? Head on over to iTunes or Google Play, give us a rating, and help engage with Cellar Door Skeptics today.
And now, back to Cellar Door Skeptics with your hosts, Christopher Tanner and Chris Hanna.
Oh, welcome back from our extended break, I guess. I don't know if I want to call it that. It's a break. We used the facilities, and we're back with more Cellar Door Skeptics.
Because we give you all of the information on this show.
We give you the best information.
We're not taking a break to go get a drink or have a snack. No, we're going to the loo. Oh,
Speaking
boy.
of behind the scenes stuff, we've been doing pretty good lately. We've been releasing a pre-show to almost every one of our shows. So if you are not a Patreon subscriber, you should become one. For as little as $1 an episode, you can support the show and help us support other charities and other different things that we do around here. Essentially, obviously, we don't do this for money. But if you're listening and you want to help out the show a little bit and pay for some of the costs of keeping the show around to hear our two dumb voices every week, throw a little bit our way. We had a new Patreon supporter this week, and her name is Girl Ballet, Pet Girl Ballet, and she joined us and became a sponsor. So thank you so much for joining the show.
That's pretty sweet. I don't know, we're adding humans to our list of supporters. I would support that.
Anyway, so the meat of the show, or the bigger discussion I wanted to actually, have tonight, and we've been talking about this for a little while. One of the concepts of our show was going local. How do we push this local discussion? How do we move towards changing the world, changing politics one step at a time? And we got sick of complaining about Trump. We really did, in fairness. I mean, we spent more... That guy has gotten more lip service from people that hate him than anybody that has ever liked him in his life. It's got to be a marketing strategy.
There's no such thing as bad publicity. It's something that I've heard a million times.
And so out of that came a discussion, when Hillary lost, about progressives and Democrats and leftists and dividing the blue party, and should we vote party line or should we vote our interests? And I think that, you and I had the conversation. I mean, we were huge Bernie supporters, both of us. And then he didn't win the nomination and Hillary got in. And we started supporting, Hillary. And, I got some flack for that, I'll be honest. There's a lot of people, people defriended me over that. They're like, well, if you support, true progressives and true leftists, you wouldn't support Hillary. And it's like, well, I don't want Trump. And I get it. That's a crappy position to be in. But I'm in a majority here to some extent. I have some privilege in this. I'm not gonna be ousted or outed or harmed as easily as other minorities. And
that was kind of our argument, was that basically, like, you and I aren't going to be affected too much by this.
No.
Like, we won't. We'll probably pay a little more in taxes, or we might even get a little bit more back, depending on, the circumstances and cost of health care and all the other things that, the new administration beats the hell out of. But, like, they talk about the picking the lesser of two evils, saying how that's just a slow, constant shift to the right. But, like, the question is essentially what this all boils down to is, if Hillary was elected, and if we you say that would be worse than having a President Trump, because that would confirm that the centrist, hawkish Democrats are the one, but that's what the party should be. And since Trump won, that is basically saying that, well, the party isn't left enough, or the party isn't centrist enough, and needs to go even more to the right to try to catch some more of those moderate Republicans. It's a slow shift to the right, because we've seen the party lurch to the left a tiny bit, and there's all kinds of establishment battling against that, and that's exactly what we expected. And so, like, I would like to think that even if Hillary Clinton had been elected, we would still be here criticizing her, saying you should be further left. I just don't know which case would have been true, because you can't check both those in history. Like, that was our argument, basically, is that you don't want to pick Hillary, but we want the party to go left.
And you're right. And so here we are 2 years later. Here we are again, face of similar situations. Who's the progressive, who's not. And there was a surprising victory from Alexandria Cortez's case, right? Yeah. And all of a sudden, here comes somebody that's preaching similar things to Bernie, maybe even more articulate than Bernie, in my opinion. Sorry, he's definitely more tech savvy than Bernie was.
Her Instagram is so good.
It is. She is she's amazing, and it's kind of funny because I've seen a lot of people on the left, and I've seen a lot of, like, ultra progressives and things like that criticize her. And I'm sitting here going, hold on a second. Wait a minute. She's speaking the words. She's talking about what she is. She hasn't even gotten into office to act on anything, and everybody's criticizing her. Well, one of the largest critiques was that she supported Nancy Pelosi. And we'll get to that in a second here. But I want to go back to, we have somebody that's speaking up for progressives. We have somebody that's doing these other things. we have to be realistic in a time frame of how fast things can change. And I don't disagree with rioting. I don't disagree with revolution in any way, shape, or form. And I don't disagree that these things need to happen now. What I'm more concerned with is that if she is a true progressive and she is platforming on a progressive, even if she's not at 100% status, is it okay to support her now, to give her some credit, to allow her to start working, even if in the long run, really she's still farther right than the rest of us, right? I don't know. I've gone through her positions and I posted her campaign page in the show notes. That's like the first one for this segment. And she talks about Medicare. She talks about housing as a human right. She talks about a peace economy. And basically stop funding wars, that's huge for me as an individual.
I know.
That's if I have to pick one of the things that goes outside of fixing human equality inside of the United States, that's the first one I go for. Is that is dismantling our war regimen.
Yeah. So my question basically is just like the whole idea of her being more right. Like, I've been looking for examples of her being more right. Did you see any? Do you have any examples or anything like that? Because I hear is the fact that she's supporting Pelosi. That's the only thing I've seen where I'm like, And
in fair, you're right. In fairness, that is the largest critique against her right now. That's the biggest one I've seen. And I do agree with that, actually, because I don't think Nancy Pelosi. I don't think she's the one that I want as a House Speaker. She may be the best fit for a moderate, semi-neoconservative Democrat, and she may be the best to garner the most Democratic votes. But if I want real change, I'm having a hard time seeing Nancy Pelosi as my go-to, for this. The problem is we could spend an hour discussing Nancy Pelosi. We could spend an hour discussing whether she's the right fit, whether she's not. Should we accept her? Should we not? Was there better candidates? We can have that conversation. To me, I want to stop that right there, though, because I posted a link for anybody that wants to do or wants to read into it. There's a great opinion piece on The Atlantic that talks about her nomination, whether she's skilled, whether she's not. I don't want to get into that because I want to stop focusing on what's going to be a temporary placement. Nancy Pelosi is not here for a 20-year stint. Nancy Pelosi is here maybe for 8 years.
Nope.
Maybe.
She said with the nomination, she said she would term limit herself to 4 more years and she'll be done. But the thing is, she's 78. She'd be 82. Yeah, she's not going any longer than 4 years anyways. But that is what she said. Is that she would take the nomination to be Speaker of the House, and she would basically limit herself. She will not be there for more than 4 years, and in those 4 years, she will be grooming new possible and potential replacements. So that's a relatively new development on her end.
So you're right, and in fairness to that, like I'm glad she's recognizing this and making that statement, right? So it makes accepting the harsher pill a little bit easier than before. I don't like the discussion of I want to work with both sides. I mean, I get we got to work with both sides, but to some extent, the right has gone so far right. Working with both sides almost feels like we're just giving in to Republican demands, and we're not actually getting anything out of this. And again, that's a whole nother discussion that's not even part of what I wanted to get into tonight. I think that's an important conversation to have, but tonight the conversation is Miss Cortez or Miss? I guess I can't pronounce the first part of her last.
It's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
So is Miss? How do you say it again? Ocasio-Cortez. Is she going to be Is she going to be a new Bernie? Do we get to see a new Bernie, a more progressive Bernie, a more in touch with reality Bernie? I'm not saying Bernie's a bad person. Don't defriend the show because of that. We both are very huge Bernie supporters, but Bernie has his problems. So is she that? And what can we expect from her? And again, we're speculating here, right? She's only made one proposal, and that's been very recent. Now
and she hasn't even
taught-
started her job yet either.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't start until she's taking a week off right now after this huge whirlwind year she's had so far, and she's jumping in full gamut at the first of the year basically. So
She is. Now, she has put forth, though, a discussion point that she's now pushing for climate change. And
I agree. Yeah, the Green Deal.
The Green Deal, yep. And which is when we want to talk about what she's going to do, what she's not going to do. She is pushing the Green Deal, right? And again, the Green Deal doesn't have this specific set formula. The Green Deal is this highly big visualized concept inside of America that has never come to fruition. It's something the Green Party has latched onto. I believe, what was her name?
Jill Stein.
Jill Stein has latched onto this for over 4 to 6 years now. This is nothing new. I honestly don't think for the Green Party. Now, Miss Ocasio-Cortez, she didn't run Green Party. She ran Democrat. But she's pushing a very largely Green Party specific initiative that is a little bit farther left leaning than we've seen. In fairness, Bernie, in all his Berniness and birdiness, has not pushed this specific agenda. He's talked about these things all across the board, but what initiatives specifically have we seen? Have we seen a green initiative? In fairness,
well, that's my question real quick. Is you mentioned the Green Party multiple times. Is the Green Party directly connected to this? Because I always heard the Green New Deal is essentially like the FDR New Deal with climate, energy conservation as its main goal.
Good
Where's
question.
the Green Party connection to it?
The Green Party is the largest platform party advocating for this specific style of deal. And you're right. This is not something that has been, even completely fleshed out, right? But it has. The Green Deal started by this gentleman named Thomas Friedman, and he argued in favor, and he wrote about it in the New York Times and the New York Times Magazine. And his initial basis, the first point of discussion is if you have to put a windmill in your yard or solar panels on your roof, bless your heart. But we will only be green when the world, with the whole world, when we change the very nature of the electricity grid, moving away from dirty coal and oil to clean coal and renewable energy.
But even clean coal isn't very new or clean, but either
you're
way,
right.
yeah.
It's not. It's not. You're never going to get away from that to begin with. We could eventually, but for now we have to.
This is his middle ground step. That's fine. Okay,
yes.
So that's cool.
So that was the original order, and that's from 2007. So the Green Party specifically did not come up with this, and this is not something that isn't new. The United Nations have different organizations that have pushed different versions of this in different countries outside of America, right? There's been other proposals, other government-led discussions on this, and they're talking about how do we take what they call like a micro step, right? That's what they're talking about. They don't want to take these macro level, changes. It's all about investing in green energy. It's all about investing and finding where your financial derivatives, where your financial, runoffs are going to be. It's talking about removing tax havens, removing tax evasion, which we see all the time. We see big business getting all sorts of credits, for oil production and this and that. I mean, look in the United States, oil gases have gone down, right? It's not because they're making less money. It's because we have extra oil, therefore we need to sell it because the longer it sits, the more capital you invest, you free up. So
yeah, the United States is now the world's largest producer of oil and gas, thanks to the fracking and reduction on regulations that they've had with the EPA and through the Trump administration. We've become the number one. We do more oil and gas, mostly natural gas, through fracking and everything. It's a big deal. Like all of this kind of stuff is we really boosted in what we do here. And so the idea of like it's reducing the cost of energy, but we're sucking it out of the ground twice as fast now. It's a big change needs to happen. Actually, this week they said that the whole coal miner problem that we had, the black lung deal, they didn't understand about silica dust and the way they cut into rock. So like coal is typically a big vein that runs through in the ground. And once they get the big vein out, then they have to follow the smaller veins. It's just, little coal veins that run through the rock and sediment. And now they have silica dust problem, which is something like 20 times as dangerous for your lungs. And people are dying like crazy in the coal mining. And they said that the administrations, all the way back to the Clinton administration, knew about this and didn't do anything for it. And Trump has been saying, let's boost coal, let's drive more coal, let's bring coal back. I mean, unless we, change the way that entire system is, that's just going to directly result in people dying in the mines and things like that. It's like there's all kinds of other secondary restrictions or secondary damages that are going to happen in this country, as well as the natural climate change stuff. So like the whole idea of this green New Deal, driving our economies towards green energy and boosting renewable energy to get away from just the dangers to the workers and to the people in this country. I don't understand why this has been so long in the making, but it's really cool to see Alexandria pushing towards that, because this is kind of what she ran on. She ran on Medicare for all and green energy. Those are her two really big platforms, aside from women's equality and a lot of the millennial issues, LGBTQ rights and everything. So I don't know. I'm super excited to see if this goes anywhere.
And I am too. And so let's close out the Green Deal part. So you're right. It's part of the Green Party platform. This is more of a world initiative. It's now getting revitalization inside of the U.S. Really, in my opinion, again, this is sounding horrible because Jill Stein and the Green Party have pushed this type of platform. But finally, we have somebody that's running a mainline party platform that's pushing this. And yes, should it have taken 8 to 10 years to get this pushed into politics? No. Is this new? No. But now that the goal of this conversation was not to analyze where the failings of the United States and all these other things are, because again, I think we fail quite a bit. We should have been looking at this a long time ago. But
and is Cortez going to be a spark that starts it?
She is, and that's what I'm excited about, because the difference is she has not started her position yet, and she's already starting to advocate. So we have somebody that's young. We have somebody that is full of energy. She fits a lot of my opinions. She fits a lot of my political moral compass. And so for me, this is exciting because while I'm hearing naysayers say she's supporting Nancy Pelosi. Okay, she is. But look what else she's pushing. She's pushing Green Party platform agenda before she starts. She essentially
she's pushing green energy and Medicare for all. She's a democratic socialist, self-styled. Like this is where we want the party to go. Whether or not she can gain enough traction to really be that rock for that new revolution, I think she's got a good chance.
And one of the big things for me here, right, is we look at it and we go, she doesn't care about whether she gets elected in 4 years to some extent.
Oh, I know.
That's what this is. Now you tell me how exciting that is.
Yeah, I know.
To me, that's exciting. To me, that's politics. To me, that's
House
when you
is
go
only
back
2 years, though.
You're right. Yes, exactly. But to me, what it goes down to, I guarantee you she'll be able to be reelected in 2 years. I don't think this is really a big question. I think
unless something really bad happens,
I could foresee the momentum going forward for 2 more years. Can she sustain it, right? But even let's take it down to 2 years, man. Even that, she doesn't care. The idea is you elected me to do one job and one job alone. I'm here to do it. Now, we could sit around and debate all day long whether I'm going to be here. You know what? I waited tables before I did this. If I have to go back to waiting tables, and I haven't heard her say this, but I wouldn't be surprised if she said something similar to this. I have to go back to waiting tables, so be it. I'm here to do what you elected me to do. And if we go back to the traditional founding fathers, and we go back to where the Constitution was written, and we go back to all these things, they came, they served their time, and they went back to their professional trade. It was not a get-rich-quick scheme. It was not a life long journey. And while we can argue the merits of if you're in politics for 15 to 20 to 30 to 40 years, do we get a better democracy because you understand it better? We can have that conversation now that we're bigger. But at the exact same time, here we have somebody coming in saying, I want to make a difference. I want to change things. Fuck the world, I guess, as nice as I can say it.
Yeah.
If you don't like what I have to say, you elected me. I'm going to say it. I'm going to push for it. Unelect me if you don't like it.
Well,
That's amazing to me.
I've got one thing that, like, one of the tweets that she put out this week, I just wanted to go to, because if you want a representative of you and I, of our generation in politics, think about this real quick. She posted, "This blows my mind. House ethics rules prevent me from receiving a $100 gift card or crashing at a place as I wait for rent money. But somehow it allows members with investment portfolios to write laws that will personally enrich them thousands in their own stocks, potentially millions." So she's basically a person who says, listen, I had a crappy job before I got elected. I need money. I still can't get an apartment. I'm fighting, they won't let me stay at a friend's house. I can't take a gift card because of ethics rules. But the guys who are in these offices already are allowed to write laws on stocks they already own. She's basically talking about insider trading, and she's attacking directly the pay to play and the shady ethics of politics, taking it head on, and she's doing it from a position of someone who can't quite make the rent. That's who I want in office representing me and minorities and women and anybody else out there who doesn't get a fair shake. That all of these white guys in office think that, you know what, we know what you want. How about you guys just go back to work? We'll take care of all the big things here. Like when they used to tell women, like, don't worry, honey, I'll take care of this. In the old movies, don't worry. The boys will take care of this. How about you just don't worry your little head and go sit back down? Well, this woman here is she's going right up against that, and she isn't even in this job yet. She doesn't even have her office yet. That's the kind of person I want representing me. And so I hope the fact that she can hold true and pull through it, because everything that I see, even in a few places where she's made compromises and stuck with the establishment and in the Pelosi situation, I see way more progressive and way more future than I do regression. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for, is that she can be that spark.
Exactly. She had another tweet, and this came replying to somebody named Jeff Stein from WAPO, right? And he basically said, and this is the shocking thing, 93-7, Congress approved a $607 billion military budget for the year, which is a $17 billion increase, right? Now, think about this. The shocking thing isn't just the dollar value. The shocking thing is 93-7. That's Democrats included. And here she's telling you, now you tell me how you're going to pay for that. Tell me where that money's going to come from, and could it be used better? So, you know what? For now, I'm gonna keep my head high.
Yep.
I'm going to be excited, and I'm going to talk a lot about her, I'm hoping, in the upcoming years, because she's here to make a difference. And if the worst thing, in my opinion, that can come out of this is that she inspires other young progressives to run as Democrats, to push the changes that maybe, folks, in 10 bloody years at the latest, because I don't want to have to be 60 when this happens, but maybe when I'm 45, we can actually see a Democrat in office that's doing something democratic instead of watching all these bloody neocons continue to purge our taxes to military and to corporate interests. When that can change, that's when I get excited. Because otherwise, my other option is anarchy. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's definitely where you're going. I mean, we've had this conversation a bunch of times. You'll be like, okay, honey, you stay here. I'm gonna go to the riots. I'll be back at 10 to help get the kids to sleep. That's I don't know,
That's
man.
how
It's
I
a
feel
tough world.
sometimes.
You know, that could be our future. I mean, I don't know. I hope there's no major things that cause any kind of mass hysteria and rioting that really turns this country into a civil war situation. I think an impeachment could do that. And so there's a lot of, well, an impeachment and a removal. So, I mean, I don't know. There's a bunch of things that are going to be happening in the next couple of years. We'll see what happens. But for the moment, I think Cortez is going to be a quality progressive, and I think she's going to point the Democratic Party in the right direction.
Exactly. And anybody that says, hey, we need a new Green Deal, and maybe it's going to scare the GOP, they got my vote 100%.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like, she is just right there. Just that right there, that sells me. Oh, there you go. That was my excitement for the night. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, I was a little
Blood
scared. I'll be
pressure up.
honest with you. I was a little scared. I was a little scared to do that segment only because I was afraid that I was going to be let down by a progressive. And the longer we waited to do this segment and the more things that have come out, she's already proposing something. She's not even in office yet. I'm extremely excited for the future. I just am. It's exciting for me.
She's got our support, and it's hers to lose. She can do something that'll really blow it for us, but we like what we see so far, and we will support her as long as she maintains the current course of action, as long as the I guess the money of politics and the power doesn't change her. You know, I don't know how strong. I mean, she's never been in this world, man. She's coming from bartending and minimum wage jobs to a world of opulence and lobbying and all kinds of crazy stuff. So hopefully she can keep to her guns and really hold true to her virtues. I would be more than happy to support her for the many years that she probably has in office if she could stick to it. But so we'll see. Hopefully she can be the leader that we all want her to be.
Yeah. So as we end the show, we have our quick save segment of the week. And I'm a little excited by your quick saves.
I know.
Only because it's video game related. I'm not excited because it's beer related.
It's not video game related.
It's kind of.
Nope, not even close.
It's got a video game guy right in the link you sent me.
I know, but it's not a video game. So, you want to do yours first, or you want me to do mine?
What's your quick save of the week?
All right, so the Pan Galactic Gargle Blaster is a new beer from a brewery called Shorts Brewing Company in Michigan. It's in a small little town starts with a B. I can't remember the name of them. Anyways, the Pan Galactic Gargle Blaster in Bel Air. Okay, so the Pan Galactic Gargle Blaster is the name of the drink in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy / Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe that is known as the number one drink in the universe. And I believe it was described as they said having your brain smashed between two gold bricks and a twist of lime, I think is what it was. So it's a super intense. Oh yeah, that's what it is. It says the Pan Galactic Gargle Blaster is an alcoholic beverage invented by ex-president of the universe Zaphod Beeblebrox, considered by the Guide to be the best drink in existence. Its effects are similar to having your brain smashed by a slice of lemon wrapped around a large gold brick. So it's just I was at a restaurant and they had a keg of this, and I drank it and it was absolutely stunning. It's an awesome double IPA, somewhere around 10% alcohol, and it's just a pile of IBUs, just an insanely strong beer. I really, 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 really liked it. I tried to find some. They don't have any anywhere near my house. I'm assuming this is a limited run beer, but I got to drink a Pan Galactic Gargle Blaster, which made me smile and squeak like a small toddler in a large restaurant when I saw it on the menu and I had to order it. So that was my my quick save for the week is having 2 drinks at dinner and seeing cross-eyed for about an hour.
I just like the video game aspect to it. And I do like they reference, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
So you're talking about the label on it, right?
Yeah,
the label looks kind of something like a cross between Metroid and Asteroids.
Yeah, I could tell you right now, a double IPA is so far. It's so far from what I would ever drink if I drank beer, and I don't drink beer. And I'm a little confused, I'll be honest with you, because I thought it was like a mixed drink that they made in the book. I didn't think it was a beer-ish type thing, but I could be wrong.
It is. No, it's a mixed drink, like a cocktail or something. I can't remember the specific booze that had in it. They explained what was in it in the book, and just out of my general memory, I cannot remember. But there's in the book there is a drink that is the basis of it, and it has a crazy name, and I can't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, so it's I don't know. It's an imaginary thing from the Hitchhiker's Guide. I think it was the restaurant at the end of the universe is the section of, because like there is the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe, and that encompasses all 5 volumes, I think, that were released as novels for Douglas Adams' story arc or whatever with Arthur. So just anyone check it out. That's where you can find it. And if I can find it, I'll see if I can find the link to the specific booze in it. But it's like a mixed drink in the universe. This is just a beer, which I'm surprised that name isn't trademarked, or maybe the Douglas Adams estate was paid by Shorts to be able to pull this off, which would surprise me because this is a relatively small brewery. But either way, I thought it was cool as heck.
Well, if I find some, I'll buy you a 6-pack. How about that? That'll be my Christmas treat to you, Hannah.
Aww.
So, my quick save of the week comes. I hate telling you the company that made this.
I saw it and I felt the same way. I saw it.
I really don't like who made this, but I could tell you that I would look at investing in it for my dog. So Ford, and yes, the Ford company that makes Ford bloody cars, which are usually awful vehicles, made a noise canceling dog kennel. And as soon as I saw that, I said, I wish I had one of those. That's amazing. Because my dog hates noise more than every other dog I swear on the planet. She is super freaked out by all sorts of crazy noises, which is kind of fair. I'm kind of the same way. You can easily scare me or get me to jump. Ask any of my kids or wife. Heck, I think one time my son jumped out and scared me, and I hit him in the balls. So I think I've told that story on the show a couple of times at least. I'm pretty sure I have at least once or twice. Anyway, so
that's terrible.
So it is terrible. I still haven't heard the end of that, but I thought this was really good, and I saved the article and I came back later and I read about it. I couldn't believe it was Ford. I thought it was a whole different Ford company, but no, it's the company that makes bloody cars. Yeah. But they're using noise cancellation technology that they're putting in their cars to make a dog house that basically can sit in your living room, and it's basically a quiet kennel for your dog.
Yeah, it's got like noise canceling and foam padding and all kinds of stuff going on. Yeah. It's pretty impressive. It looks cool, but I mean, damn, man, a giant noise canceling headphone for your dog, that sounds expensive. Why is Ford making this?
It does, and it's got like the video has like the little Ford logo, and it's just a concept. So this is not even something that you can buy. Oh. I was very sad you couldn't buy this, and I'll be honest with you, I probably wouldn't pay a lot of money for it because I'm pretty cheap. But I don't know. I don't know, because can you think about it? If your dog's younger, right? Like my dog's 3.5. If my dog had this and was going to live for another 10 years, and I had to pay $1,000 for it, I would hate paying that $1,000. I'll be perfectly honest with you. But if it made her feel better, it would kind of be hard to say no to something like that if you can afford it. And I'm not saying I actually can afford it, but, it doesn't mean I couldn't save for it.
Benadryl's pretty cheap.
Benadryl doesn't affect my dog, by the way, buddy. I can dose my dog 4 times the dose she would normally give a dog, and it doesn't work.
Well, my dogs, the vet was like, yeah, if you have anxiety issues, if it's like a really bad, like on the 4th of July, a Benadryl would usually help. Dog would just sleep through the night or whatever, and it works. Not like we can't just like the entire month of July, fireworks are basically going off in Kentwood where I live. So like I can't. I mean, she just won't go outside basically the entire month of July. But I'm assuming your dog's like a sheep or like
we have border collie.
Border collie, yeah.
And she freaks out at thunder. So I can't watch a movie that has thunder on it, and she freaks out.
Those dogs are super smart, but they're also a little anxious. So, yeah, man, I don't know. I just that this would be cool. I was thinking about the same thing when I saw that. I was like, that would be cool for my dog Bella, who's kind of the same way.
It would be. It's a nice dream.
What do you think? What do you think MSRP is on something like that?
Oh, I would probably wager this is like a $5,000 unit. Is my guess.
I was gonna say somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000. Like just like like I guess an electronically wired. Because in the picture it's like a triangle. It's like a dome thing, and they've got like lights in it, and it's got dampening and foam and stuff in it. So I bet you they could probably make something like that for $1,500, $2,000.
You never know,
but still, oh my God.
Yep, that's even more than I can. That's more than I can afford right now. So,
oh man,
who knows? It's lovely to dream and anything to make the dogs feel better. Thank you so much for joining us at Cellar Door Skeptics. We've had an amazing night tonight. We will be back with another episode next week, 158. Even though it's Christmas, we will have an episode for you next week. Thank you so much for joining us at Cellar Door Skeptics, and have an amazing night.
You've been listening to a presentation of Cellar Door Skeptics. Check us out on Spreaker. CellarDoorSkeptics.com.
If you'd like to join the ranks of Patreons and sponsor the show, head over to patreon.com/Cellar Door Skeptics. For less than a 20-ounce soda or an energy drink each week, you can help sponsor us, the hosts, and our charity of choice. Patreon helps Cellar Door Skeptics create better content, become better activists, and it's going to help you stay healthier by drinking one less soda or one less energy drink each week. Click the link in the notes of the show to sponsor us today, because we bring the discussion with the sources.